Thank you, Madam Chair.
Honorable Minister was making an amendment. Can you rephrase the amendment you're making?
I said we were on clause 2,
On the definition.
and I referred honorable members to interest of a foreigner to mean interests of a foreigner that are not aligned with the policies and laws adopted by government, not principles.
Okay. AG.
We agree with the principle that has been set out in the amendment. I think the issue is that government has policies, not principles, has policies. So we want to amend that to read policies and laws developed and adopted by government of Uganda.
Thank you. I put a question that clause 1 be amended as proposed by the committee and further amended by the AG. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 1 as amended.
I put a question that clause 1 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 3.
Clause 3.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 3 as follows. Clause 3 of the bill is amended by inserting immediately before the word ministry, appearing in the third line, the word relevant. Justification: to require the department to consult the relevant ministry while implementing the act. I beg to move.
Chair. Minister.
No objection.
Yes.
You see, there's a bill we passed recently to make it vague, because you see, this bill is about financial flows. Now, when you say relevant ministry, why don't we say minister responsible for finance, so that it is very clear? Because when you leave it vague like this, we will have a challenge.
AG.
Right, Honorable Chair, this bill is not about financial flows. This bill is about influencing policy making in Uganda. So every different ministry has its own policy that it is entitled to handle. So it's not about money. This bill is not about money. It's about influencing policy making decision in Uganda.
I put a question that clause 3 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 3 as amended.
I put a question that clause 3 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
Clause 4.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 4 as follows. Clause 4 of the bill is amended in subclause 1 in paragraph D by inserting the words "or foreign nationals," and in paragraph H by inserting the word "perform" immediately before the word "any." Justification: to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in clause 2. I beg to move.
Honorable Minister.
No objection.
AG.
No objection.
I put a question that clause 4 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 4 as amended.
I put a question that clause 4 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
Clause 5, Chair.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 5 as follows. Clause 5 of the bill is amended in subclauses 3 by substituting for the words "a person" the words "an agent of a foreigner." By substituting for subclause 4 the following: an agent of a foreigner who intentionally promotes the interests of a foreigner against the interests of Uganda commits an offense and is liable on conviction to, in the case of a legal entity, to a fine not exceeding 100,000 currency points, and in the case of an individual, to a fine not exceeding 50,000 currency points or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years or both. Justification to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in clause 2. To make the penalty and fine proportionate to the offense. And finally, to provide for criminal intent in the commission of the offense. I beg to move, Madam Chair.
Right, Honorable Speaker and members, our original provisions were for deterrence, knowing that we have the safeguard of court discretion. They were just maximum, but middle ground is okay. We can have the amendments as done by the committee.
The person who what?
Who intentionally promotes.
Who intentionally promotes. How do you get intention? The burden of proof.
The burden of proof always lays on the state, which alleges. He who alleges must prove. So the state must prove that was done intentionally.
You okay with the wording?
Yes.
Yes.
I would request that we rephrase the interest of a foreigner, because if, for example, we promote the interest of Kenya that wants a road to pass the standard gauge railway, for example, to pass Tororo and head to the north, and the government wants the standard gauge to come to Kampala. Me coming from the east, I want it to go to the north to promote trade. And if it is being promoted by the government of Kenya, I will support that idea. And I might be criminalized.
Honorable Eki, you're reading this in isolation. It is saying of a foreigner against the interest of Uganda. SGR is not against the interest of Uganda. It is in favor of Uganda. Don't read in piecemeals.
Reading in piecemeal. In that case, the interest of Uganda will be SGR to come to Kampala. Kenya's interest is to come to the to go to the north.
I put a question that clause 5 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 5 as amended.
I put a question that clause 5 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 6.
Chair.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 6 as follows. Clause 6 of the bill is amended in subclause 2 by deleting the words a person. In subclause 3 by deleting the words any person or. By substituting for subclause 4 the following. An agent of a foreigner who intentionally performs the functions or offers services for which the government is responsible for without the approval of the relevant government agency commits an offense and is liable on conviction in the case of a legal entity to a fine not exceeding 100,000 currency points, and in the case of an individual to a fine not exceeding 50,000 currency points, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years or both. In subclause 5, by substituting for the word a person, the words an agent of a foreigner. Justification to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in clause 2, and to make intention an element of the offense, and to make the penalty proportionate to the offense. I beg to move.
Minister.
I concur, Right Honorable Speaker.
AG.
No objection, Right Honorable Speaker.
I put a question that clause 6 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 6 as amended.
I put a question that clause 6 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 7.
Chair.
Clause 7, Madam Chair, is proposed to be amended as follows. Clause 7 of the bill is amended in subclause 3 by deleting the words a person or. By substituting for subclause 4 the following. An agent of a foreigner who knowingly develops a policy without the approval of cabinet commits an offense and is liable on conviction in the case of a legal entity to a fine not exceeding 100,000 currency points, and in case of an individual to to a fine not exceeding 50,000 currency points or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years or both. In subclause 5, by deleting the words and implementing. Justification: to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in clause 2, to provide for criminal intent in the commission of the offense, to make the penalty proportionate to the offense, to harmonize clause 7, paragraph 5, relating to development of government policy, and clause 8, paragraph 8, relating to implementation of government policy. I beg to move.
Minister.
I want to draw the attention of members to subclause 4. An agent of a foreigner who knowingly develops, I want to add, and implements a policy without the approval of cabinet, commits an offense and is liable on conviction, blah, blah, blah. So I want that we amend by adding and implements.
I concur with the amendment given by the minister.
Have you looked at 5 from the committee's recommended from the report, where they say the minister may by regulation prescribe the procedure and the requirements for formulating and implementing the policy of government? So you're deleting that. By implementing.
We are adding to 4, where they say knowingly develops. An agent of a foreigner who knowingly develops. To develop, you may develop it and keep it in your mind. But we want to add and implements. So if you develop it in your mind and attempt to implement it here, that's when you commit an offense. So in 5, we are saying that if you want to implement a policy that you've come up with, you have a policy. You go and you tell government what policy you have, and they will tell you how to implement it in Uganda.
Yes. Yes,
Madam Chair.
Chair. Christine.
Chair, I am of the view that knowingly developing a policy and implementing it, what would happen to institutions like Red Cross that come in disasters and they don't need that other approvals? So we could do qualify it other than
Red Cross is not an agent of foreigners. They are funded by government.
It is a legal entity that sometimes represents foreigners. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Not unlawfully.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'm making a proposal that we amend and replace a word without approval of cabinet and say without approval of government. Because sometimes we debate here and the courts and the other government agencies. So when we restrict and tie ourselves only to cabinet, we are surrendering too much power and making cabinet to be. So I'm proposing that instead of cabinet, we say without approval of government. That is better definition. Government is broad. It has nothing. And include cabinet.
Cabinet
No,
is vague.
government is not the policy making organ.
Christian,
It's cabinet by
the
constitution.
Red Cross
By
is a
constitution,
creation.
cabinet.
Red Cross is a creation of the Geneva Convention, and we are bound to abide by it. So it is not a foreign. Yes, AJ. Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, a policy is a plan. It can be some frameworks, and some of these institutions may come up with these frameworks and run to implement them, especially in the local governments, without government approval. So I don't see any problem. Yes, I don't see any problem with maintaining what the committee has presented with the amendment of a foreigner developing and implementing a policy without the approval of cabinet. Government is too broad. Let's leave it as cabinet, because it's cabinet's responsibility to actually approve policies in this government. So let's leave it with the cabinet. The policy must be approved by cabinet.
Madam Chair, you had picked me. You had picked me, Madam Chair.
Honourable members, policy formulation is an executive role. So by the time it is put there that cabinet should do it. Because when you put government, even us then, if Parliament will also do the same, local government, even so the amendment, just a minute.
Right, Honorable Chair.
Just a minute.
The committee proposed to amend clause 7.4 to read an agent of a foreigner who knowingly develops a policy. We are proposing that we are saying an agent of a foreigner who knowingly develops and implements a policy. And we are proposing that in subclause 5, the minister may, they're proposing to delete and implementing, we are proposing that and implementing remains. That's the amendment.
That's what I said.
Yes.
That's what I said. That is 5. That is what? 7.
Clarification.
You can give information.